Hey there, Keyforge fans. It's me. I'm Andrew. I'm here to talk to you about a couple of articles that have dropped recently on keyforging.com, specifically about the Master Vault and organized play. So let's take them in the order they came. But again, if you want to read these for yourself, you can go to keyforging.com. That is where Ghost Galaxy drops all their Keyforge news nowadays. So it's a good place to go. All right, so the first article is this one about the Vaults Awaken, and this article is about the Master Vault. Up till now, many of us have had, the app on our phones that we use to scan decks and to register for events in Gem. We've known for a while now, or at least believed, that Gem is going away. They're going to have some other tournament solution. So that'll be kind of interesting. We'll have to find out, how that'll work. We haven't been able to scan, those of us who have Winds of Exchange decks haven't been able to scan those in, obviously. What's available on the Master Vault app is also in the website, keyforgegame.com. I suspect that URL is going to change, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, they've been talking for a while now about migrating ownership of the Master Vault to Ghost Galaxy from Fantasy Flight Games, and they've had a time horizon for that. It all makes sense, and that migration is going to happen on January 25th. While that happens, it'll be down for a few hours. I wonder, I always wonder what exactly is going on during those downtimes. As somebody who works in tech infrastructure, things that would make sense would be something like a database migration or copy or something, in which case hopefully they've done a trial run through of this. But most likely it actually has to do with DNS changes, and those can take a few hours just because various internet providers and whatnot cache that information for a period of time, and so when they make a change, it may take several hours for your computer in your home to actually find out that the website is at a different place. So that's actually my best guess, but I really don't know for sure. And they say that there's going to be we're going to notice differences. That's cool. I'm excited about differences. Although the look and feel really it looks the same from the pictures. I mean, not the same, but it seems very similar from the pictures. Okay, couple of other things. So we're gonna have to reset passwords. And I heard another podcast speculating about this, and I have to say I just have a different take. For most online accounts, if you let's say you forget your password, you go through a password reset flow. They send you a one-time code, usually embedded in a link to your email. You click on that link, and that enables you to put in a new password. And so they're using your email, the fact that you have access to and control your email, as the proof that you should be able to control this Master Vault account. That's very common. Email, text number, those are usually the two things that get used for that. They're using email. So I think they're just going to do that password reset flow for everybody, which it just makes a lot of sense. So they don't need to know the password that you gave Asmodee. You'll just set a new password for the Ghost Galaxy account. So it all makes sense. They'll probably proactively send you an email, but I don't know for sure. That's how I would do it. So hopefully that's how they do it. Some other changes. The biggest one is that the app is not going to work anymore. That seems fine to me. The app actually had some bugs that didn't show up on the website, like copy paste didn't work and ordering of decks was wonky. So on the app, if you just looked at decks, you wouldn't see the most recent ones, whereas on the website you would. So that was just a weird thing, and probably the way they were calling the API under the hood. Yeah, so having it all on the website, I think, just makes more sense. It means everybody's getting the same experience. Obviously, on mobile, it'll look different, but That's fine. And it also means that you can now scan decks from a desktop computer with a camera attached, which is an improvement in functionality. You couldn't do that before. You'd have to manually type the code. Um, you'll still be able to scan from a phone too. You just it's the website that does it instead of the app. So anyway, this seems great to me. And additionally, as somebody who used to have to manage 3 different accounts on one phone, uh, it's much easier to just have like 3 different um, browser setups to do that rather than having to log in and out of the app. So I'm all that just seems good to me. Um, okay, they say there's some items missing, like homepage and explore decks page merge. That'll make sense. It was really the same before anyway. There's one thing here I haven't heard people mention that is kind of cool, which is if you look at this screenshot here. So they're using this picture to point out they removed the key indicator in the player profile. That's fine. Key was redundant to shards. That all makes sense. You still get the Amber Shards log, but the thing that uh, they I think didn't mention, but is shown here, is there's this link to go to my Keybringer account. That's pretty cool. I thought, what is Keybringer? And then I remembered it's from the CTP keynote. Keybringer events are casual events that are player run. So there will be something integrated into Master Vault, according to this screenshot, around running those events. So that's super cool. Excited to see what that means or how that looks. It would be all speculation now, but it seems like there's going to be some implementation tied into Master Vault. So, okay. They also took out power level chains, wins, and losses. That makes sense, but they're not deleting it. So basically, that stuff tied into how FFG did organized play. Ghost Galaxy is going to be doing it different, so they might present the data in a different way. That all really makes sense to me. So I'm excited that they have plans, even though it doesn't seem like they're fully realized yet, or even maybe fully conceived. Okay, and then this is relevant for me and for some other people, but for anybody who is programmatically accessing the Master Vault with their API, they're going to be requiring registration and using um, an API key to do it. That makes sense. Dex of Keyforge requires that, so it makes sense that the Master Vault would require that. Okay. They said they're going to reveal more stuff later. That's great. Okay. On to the next thing. Hi, CTP. Okay, so this is the next article, preparing for OP for 2023 OP. This has a little more mixed news. So they talked about what they had announced, which was that they'd have those Keybringer casual events. They'd have Vault Keeper, I think. They'd have store run events, and then they'd also have store championships, regionals, nationals, and world champs and vault tours. Yeah, so they announced all that stuff. The U.S. National Championship is going to be held at Gen Con. That's good news. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I should be thinking ahead because I would hope to possibly have a spot there. Other national champ locations are to be determined. They're going to run 10 vault tours around the world. It all makes sense. National champion vault tour winners get an invite to the world championship, which will be in Minnesota. And they talked about the $10,000 prize pool for a vault tour and the $50,000 prize pool at the world championship. Yeah, that is all a recap of what we talked about before. However, they say that while that'll be true in future years, it won't be happening. The full picture won't be happening in 2023. because they are still needing to focus on producing Winds of Exchange and getting into people's hands. And so they are foregoing store championships this year. I mostly just think it's kind of a bummer to the store champion, or to the stores rather. Um, yeah, so they're going to have store kits, but it's just those store championships are a really good way to push people to the stores, and so it's a bummer not to have that. But that's okay. So they are doing these other events, and they are looking for people in the community to reach out and say, "Hey, I want to help with this." Um, so that's also kind of interesting. I guess if you feel like, wow, we've kind of like our relationship with stores is a little choppy right now, which just makes sense, given they haven't put any product into the store's hands. Uh, Reaching out to stores and saying, "Hey, will you host this thing that we haven't given you any product for?" Might be a little spotty. There's some stores that would probably do it because they're cool, but I can see how they couldn't necessarily expect it the same way they would if they could send out store champ kits. So um, anyway, I know of at least some people that are working already that already reached out about trying to schedule some of these events. So I'm excited to see how what gets set up and what gets approved. Um, but anyway, a little bit of a bummer that the store championships aren't happening, but it seems like they're making a kind of uh, smart tactical call and saying, hey, we need to do something a little different. And they're still planning on having the regional championships and then the nationals and vault tours and whatnot. So hopefully that all goes well and they're able to deliver on that. And kudos to them, I think, for communicating somewhat transparently about this. Um, More communication, I think, is always better. And the community really wants all this to work out well. I think we just need to keep feeling like we're all on the same team with GG, so that spirit of working together keeps up. So if GG ever hears this, anybody from GG, hey, please be more transparent. The transparency that you're doing, which is more than FFG ever did, is great. But always more transparency is better. Um, and we appreciate the work that you guys are doing and just want this to work out because we love this game. All right. And to all you players, yeah, I hope that these events do fire and that I'm able to make it out and maybe sit across the table from some of the great people I know through this game at some of them. And yeah, get out there and forge those keys.